Time now for What's Hot. This is where we talk about the stories that have everybody talking.
Today we are joined by Tracy Johnson with Tempo Milwaukee, and Jeff Wagner is back. So this afternoon, the Archdiocese of Milwaukee released thousands of pages of documents related to clergy sex abuse. Those documents are part of a deal in federal bankruptcy court between the Archdiocese and sex abuse victims suing for fraud. The records include priests' personnel files and depositions of church leaders. We've been warned that these will be shocking, and they are if you've read some of them. I mean, I've only just scratched the surface, and already it's...
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen summaries right now, but there's two things that really jump out at me. First, about how early on, before the scandal started to really, become public, how extraordinary the efforts were by the church to take these problem priests and just move them, with the hope that nobody would discover the fact that they were problem priests. I mean, there was just a lot of that going on. And then after the scandal started erupting, how difficult it was to get these guys out of the priesthood. I mean, there's all sorts of stories about how Cardinal, now Archbishop Dolan, would go to Rome and say, we've got to defrock this guy or that guy, and how they was just met with resistance, at the highest levels of the Catholic Church. Those are two things that really come to me.
The thing that struck me when reading through it, and there is so much information, I can't believe what good record keeping they had for all of these documents, but is the empathy that Archbishop Dolan had, and how it seemed very clear that he had stepped into something that he probably had no control over, and just the correspondence and the heartfelt, sincere condolences, and it just seemed like something that we could never get to the bottom of. And I have to ask myself that question right now. At what point is this going to be over? I mean, is it when the Catholic Church is decimated? I just don't know.
Well, I would tell you, though, Tracy, Dolan's going to take it on the chin for a couple things. First of all, when he took over, there was apparently a program in place where they were offering thousands of dollars to these priests if they would just step down. And I don't think he initiated it, but he was part of that. He's going to take heat from that. He's also going to take heat from, this is where, on the one hand, you're the head of the church, but also you got the business side. He apparently, was signing off on proposals to try to move lots of money in order to try to hide it or make it impossible for creditors to get to it. He's going to take it on the chin for those two things as well.
All right, time now for more of What's Hot.
Again, we have Tracy Johnson this Monday afternoon and Jeff Wagner, as always, from News Radio 620 WTMJ. Delta Airlines facing some stiff fines from the government because of the way they treated some passengers. The feds want Delta to pay $750,000 for bumping passengers involuntarily without giving them compensation or asking for volunteers first. The U.S. DOT says Delta has a widespread practice of non-compliance in how it handles bumping customers. Delta says these were isolated incidents. Employees have been retrained. $750,000 sound like enough?
Where is the consumer in all of this? How are we going to get paid back? Now I haven't really experienced this. I've never been bumped off a flight, but this is bad news if this is the way it's going in this new economy. Overbooking and then just bumping people.
Well, I think it's funny that they have to train their employees on how to handle overbooked flights. I've never been bumped, but I've been in airports plenty of time where you hear the process and you know what they do.
Oh, okay, well, here's the weird thing about this. The weirdest thing, okay, they're going to fine him $750,000, but from what I understand, $450,000 is used to allow Delta to buy, like, tablet computers so they can keep track of it. Okay, I mean, I don't see too much of a penalty here. No, look, there's no cachet to flying anymore, and some of these airlines, they're sort of like the trailways of the sky. I've never been bumped either, and I'm just trying to picture. I don't think I would go quietly into the good night. So
because
you
again,
feel
most
bad.
of the time, again, the process is you ask people to give up their seats for compensation.
Right, and if you're going to have to offer them good stuff, because I mean, this is the airline's problem, because they're the ones that are overbooking in the first place and causing all the issues.
Well, and I think it's even the new normal because of they're decreasing flights to certain locations, and I think we're just going to see more of this. And I'm with you, Jeff. I'd like to see them reallocate this maybe to customer service training rather than these computers that are just going to do the jobs these people are being paid to do.
Okay, let's move to topic 3 because it mentions one of my favorite desserts.
Governor Scott Walker signed the state budget in Pleasant Prairie, and get this, a provision in the $70 billion state budget makes the Kringle the official state pastry, a favorite of Steve's. The Kringle comes from Lehman's Bakery in Racine. Kringle is a ring of Danish pastry filled with fruit, nuts, or chocolate, and it usually has icing on top.
And
you said you're a little obsessed with them.
Sometime in December, they start appearing in the newsroom. And you can't walk past the food table without a
Racine
slice
Kringle.
calling your name.
Okay, but here's the question. Kringle or cream puffs? See, now I have no issue with the Kringle, but I mean, you've got the cream puffs. A lot of people are thinking that this is a diss on the cream puffs.
The cream puff is the official state's dairy dessert. Is it the dairy dessert? How do they do that?
Unless it's on a stick, I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh.
Or dipped in chocolate or deep fried.
Deep fried Kringle on a stick.
Oh.
With cream puff on top? Or,
With a dollop of cream puff.
Okay. See, I am willing to wade into almost any issue, but you know, I'm telling you,
You're not
cream
gonna
puff
pick
or
sides
Kringle,
here?
I like them both. I'm not taking sides.
But you can do both because they're different times of the year,
Right.
essentially.
There's a small cream puff window at the in August, and
We
then
get those in the
and then
newsroom.
you got your holiday Kringle.
I think we just settle this and go with the cronut. Isn't that your new thing, Steve?
Thank you.
I have a good memory.
I need a baker in town to start making cronuts, please.
Steve gets really worked up about dessert.
With bacon and on a stick.
Yeah.
Okay, just for people who might not have been paying attention, what exactly is the cronut again?
The cronut, it's basically a croissant dough that's cut into the shape of a donut and then deep fried. So it's really flaky, and then you fill it with cream, and then you ice it. It started with this bakery in New York. People stand in line for 3 hours for a chance to get one.
Oh, okay, if my dietitian is listening, I have no idea what he is speaking of. I promise.
He's
I'm not
dialing
going
your
down
number
that route.
right now. Going, don't do
I
it.
Stay
just want
away.
to try one. I just want to try one.
It actually sounds like that perfect mix, though, of the Kringle and the cream puff.
A little bit.
It almost sounds...
It is.
I can just see
All
my
right,
carbohydrate
guys.
numbers going through the roof.
Now that I'm, really hungry, Tracy and Jeff, thank you.
And on the budget topic here,
Yeah.
we got Governor Walker coming up on Live at Daybreak on Wednesday.